And welcome to the Big Cheese Podcast. I'm Brandon Corbin. I'm going to be kind of a host, maybe not. We're just going to talk like we normally do. Today I've got Jacob as usual, and Sean is behind the camera.
Hey.
And today we are joined by Harrison Painter, who he and I have now been connected for way longer than either of us would probably like to admit. And he's doing some really interesting stuff in AI. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I love seeing Indy moving the ball forward.
Exactly. Well, we've been pushing this ball for about 2.5 years now. And we're finally starting to get into a rhythm. I think we finally have a studio that's working for us, and until it doesn't, and we'll change it. But yes. So hey, Jacob, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How you doing?
Okay, we're doing good.
Yeah,
we're doing good.
Yeah.
So today, what we're going to talk about, which I'm actually kind of excited about, I kind of came in here with one idea, and then we started talking before the podcast, and we're switching it up, and it's going to basically be just generalized AI usage, like. All of us use AI every single day, and so we kind of take for granted the fact of the matter is that we know what AI can do. You start talking to people who aren't using AI, and they're like, I don't even know what it can do. Like if I don't have a mental model of what it can do, then it has no value to me. And so what Harrison has been doing is basically built up a system, a process, a business around helping companies figure out how can you actually get people to be leveraging AI in the best way. And I'm probably butchering it, but that's why we have him here, because he's going to tell us a little bit about it. But before we get into that, why don't you just give us a little bit of your story of how you kind of got into this journey and how you got here?
Yeah. So I don't want to do the whole thing, but we'll start with November 2022 when ChatGPT came out. Right. I was running a different business at that time, and my wife got breast cancer, and my daughter was in a skydiving accident and broke her leg.
What?
So now I'm in this scenario.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to interrupt. Your daughter was in a skydiving accident.
She's a professional skydiver. She was doing one of those, where there's a bunch of people like in a circle holding hands doing tricks and things like that. And apparently, I'm not a skydiver, but when they push off of each other, there's a certain amount of push that you do. And the person next to her was fairly new, at least in that space. So pushed her a little bit too hard, ripped off her, what's that thing called? Altimeter?
Oh, no.
And then when you push, it's almost like Superman. You are kind of flying and you actually go off course, and you're not an airplane. So it's not like you could just kind of get back on course. So she was in Georgia. And if you've ever been to Georgia, it's like small fields and tons of trees. So she had to find a small area to land in. So when she did, she's flying over, and she is deployed her chute and all that, but she goes over a barn apparently. I don't know the physics, but when you go over a barn, I guess your chute kind of, the air kind of comes out of it a little bit. So it was just enough to kind of push her over. And she kind of slammed into a tree and then dropped about 3 stories. And that's what broke her leg. But it was all of her training that saved her life, because that was actually the best possible scenario in that situation, other than getting out completely and escaping, of course.
That's incredible.
So
okay. So anyway, sorry, I won't interrupt again.
All of this is going on as I'm trying to run a business. So now, and I'm sure a lot of people have been in this situation, very similar, right? You're trying to run a business, but yet I still got to take care of my family. I got to be a good husband, a good father. But yet if I'm not generating revenue, so it's there, right? It's a constant struggle.
Right.
But then November 2022 happened into December, and of course ChatGPT was released. And as I started jumping on the platform, at first it was like everybody else. It's Google. It's kind of fun. Is this a one-trick pony? Is this really something that's going to be as advertised or as the sci-fi is? And of course, that first couple of weeks, no, it was, whatever. But something kept pushing me back, right? I love being an early adopter. Mm-hmm. I like understanding technology. And then I realized I can create agendas. I can create Facebook posts. I can do research. I can do all these things. And keep in mind, at the time, like most people when you start, you don't understand yet hallucinations. You don't understand context window rot. You don't understand memory. You just kind of take it at face value, and you're kind of like, well, it helps. But am I doing more work or less work? Like, I'm trying to figure this out. But I realized I was starting to do the work of like 4 people at the time. So yes, it was good, but there was still a lot of effort that had to go into it. And then from there, of course, all that led me to here. So we've done.
So you start when this all started. You had a different business.
Yes, we were doing masterminds and focused on emotional intelligence, which we'll get back to because everything I've ever done in my career leads back to AI. All the success, all the failures, all of it is now applied into how I use these tools.
Okay. So then that transition, is it the same company or did you literally say, okay, I'm closing this one down and I'm now going to go to, okay, so now we have a new company. New company is called?
Well, no, I didn't form it yet.
Okay. All right. Keep going.
So I have 25 years in marketing and I kind of quit because around COVID, I started feeling like a dinosaur.
Right.
Right. I mean, the culture had passed me by, and what am I going to tell a CEO to do a TikTok dance to create awareness?
Eat a hamburger.
Talk about their delicious product. So and look, some of that stuff works, right? But I didn't understand it. I wasn't comfortable with it. So I just felt like a dinosaur. So I got into emotional intelligence. I got into mastermind groups and all that from there. But I'm sorry, what was the question?
Just basically the company that then you started.
So from there, I do what I always do. I started podcasting again, doing videos, sharing those out. Someone here locally saw me and asked me to come on board and help them market their organization. Well, it was a dying organization. I'll just say that. It was a dying organization. So I didn't want to work there at all. But he gave me an offer that I couldn't refuse. I gave him a number. I thought he would say no. I would move on. He accepted.
Dude, those are the worst.
And here I am.
I should have asked for more.
So I come on board and I realize it's dying. Like there's nothing we can do to revive this. Right. Basically, it was coding boot camps and all that. That era is over, right? At least that style of it. So we got together and said, what if we created the same thing, but around AI? And keep in mind, this was 2 years ago.
Right.
So this is unheard of.
Yeah.
And we worked hard. We created something called Blazing Academy. We did it under Indiana Wesleyan University. We did it for about a year and a half.
That's where our podcast started.
Yes, you were in the building.
Yeah.
We had a studio in that building. The one with the green screen in the back.
Yep.
So as we were doing that, we didn't have a lot of money. I mean, IWU wasn't going to throw a bunch of cash at us. We were a nonprofit. As we started working towards everything, of course, the political climate got weird. Grants dried up and programs were taken advantage of, and they were being revamped. So all of that just put us we created what I think was a phenomenal concept at the best but worst possible time, right. As you could do.
Right.
But we did launch something called the AI Protege program. This was for high school students. We had about 100 kids go through this. We gave them 26 hours of AI literacy training, 74 whatever hours, my math's not that good, of a paid internship. We ran this through the Department of Education. It was great. We had like 82% completed, which my understanding for a state-funded program, like below was, no offense, state, but it's like 30-some%, I think, is a completion.
Right.
So we blew that out of the water. So we wanted to do it the second year, but this is when everything went wild, which I'm sure many of you know about.
Right.
From there, we kind of struggled. We had some contractual things from the old guard that we had to do. So we did some AI literacy, some things in Crawfordsville. We did it in Lafayette. So we completed what had to be done there. And it ended up being great. And then from there, we did something called the Hoosier AI 1000 program, where we trained 100 people. And then the goal was for them to be training 10 people each, and whatever the math is, to get to 1,000 within Central Indiana. And that really worked well, too. And I know it worked because I was asked to give a keynote at this E360 education conference. 40% of the crowd was people from the Hoosier AI 1000 program. Now, and I don't want to offend any of them if they're watching this, but it was a workshop conference. So I'm going through the different workshops, and of course I'm cringing my teeth like, oh, that's wrong. That's outdated. But then it hit me like a lightning bolt. They're teaching what I taught a year ago. It took me 2 years to get there.
Yep.
Now the data is like, oh, wow.
Yep.
Because the next batch is going to be 6 months.
Yep.
The next batch is 3 months. So you know what? I ain't got any time to sleep, man. I got to keep up with what's going on because it doesn't matter if we're in Silicon Valley or Indiana. We all have access.
Right.
Like those barriers are over.
The speed of education. So, because before we even just knew, like when I got into college, which would now be in like 95, right? My dad had got me into a computer. I was using Photoshop, and I go to college, and my teachers had just started using Photoshop. So I'm like teaching my teachers Photoshop, and I'm like, Dad, this is crazy. And you kind of realize that was probably like a 12-year gap. And then each time, man, you're right. This thing is just going to get to a point where you're going to have to be literally surfing almost damn near real time to be able to.
I saw a quote the other day that said basically you have to be unemployed to keep up with AI, and it's true to a certain extent.
Oh my God!
And like as much as I use it, Sean uses it, you use it, we all use it. Every single day I see a new thing, I'm like, oh God.
Well, we all share every time you guys post something. Like you posted something, I'm like, I had no idea that this was even a thing.
Well, I think that's one of Claude's advantages right now, is if you just keep up with the 5 releases they do a week.
But I think the thing to remember is like, you don't have to know every bleeding edge thing. And of course, to your point earlier of like, we looked to Silicon Valley early in our careers and how, as we were building this business of like, how can we take what they're doing and implement that here in Central Indiana to a certain degree? We're not going to stay on the bleeding edge because maybe they're not ready for that. But like nowadays, you can get access to the bleeding edge stuff no matter where you're at. The barriers to entry are much lower. Now that makes competition go up, and but at the end of the day, like you can learn fast. You have access to things you never even. Like no one even thought this would be possible. So that's cool for sure.
Right.
And I want to touch on how important your point is, because I just interviewed and released it today, Jay Sammet on the AI Ready podcast. He was president of Sony Records and EMI, and he worked for Universal and all that back in the Napster days. And right now he has still all those connections in Hollywood. So he goes to these AI meetings and conferences and all that stuff. Hollywood is exactly where Indiana is. So it goes back to it doesn't matter anymore, right? The only place that might be ahead of us would be Silicon Valley, just because that's where it's built.
Right.
I mean, I think I'm a power user, but I barely burn through my $200 max credits, right? And I'm burning them. I'm getting very close at the end of the week. But then I get on X and I'm like, I've spent $9,000 this week in tokens.
I just saw a guy on LinkedIn who is talking about he spent $100,000 last month in Claude credits, and he was boasting about it because, of course, that translates. It still matters. Does that translate to real business value and to like actually moving the needle or whatever?
But did it?
Did you see the Claude study about token waste?
No.
There's a post that they created, but basically, like if you go idle for 5 minutes, it wipes the cache and has to resend the entire conversation back to Claude. There's like 5 or 6 different tricks where people, if someone's spending that $100,000, I guarantee you that a lot of it is wasteful spend.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. And
I agree.
I've just now recently been cognizant of context window and context raw. Because like I think like everybody, my journey was like, you just use it as a one-off conversation a lot. And I do a lot of coding with it, but it's normally like fresh. And like I still start fairly small projects and small tasks or whatever. So like now I'm becoming aware of like, okay, I know the ways to manage the content. I can clear it or I can write it to a document and then, compact it and all that stuff. But like, and to your point earlier of like, this is an education piece. Like you have to continue to learn like how to best utilize the tools.
So are you seeing though that so you did all this through the Indiana education, whatever the fuck the organization is. So they're there though. They're thinking about this. They're trying to figure out like what we're up against. Like how do we solve this problem?
Look, I'm blown away right now because, the state is doing a great job. I mean, look, government by design is slow.
Right.
And it needs to be.
Sure.
Typically.
Like, that's what you hope for anyway.
I mean, I don't want to talk politics, but we see things happen when it goes too quickly, right? So government by design, corporations by design move slowly.
Yeah.
Right? It's only us startup guys or us small business guys that can move very quickly. And sometimes that's great. Sometimes it's terrible for us, right? But I think the state is doing a great job so far. Believe it or not, churches are working with AI, which, I was raised King James onlyist, the fire and brimstone. So to see a lot of Indiana Wesleyan University completely coming on board and working with AI has been incredible to see. Workforce development, we got a lot of work to do. I'm working on a product around that right now. So to get to the point of why Blazing Academy is what it was called went away was we just didn't have any more funding. It was just the right place, wrong time situation. So I started LaunchReady.ai out of desperation, really. Like I got to go make some money. I've got to build a business. I've got 2 years plus at this time of working in the trenches with all these different tools and educating people and whatnot. But what I found and what LaunchReady.ai is really built on now is I don't care, high school kid or CEO of a Fortune 500 company, the problem is the same. When I do a training based on the same tool, I get the same result. There's one group that just gets it and they just take off and they thrive, right? There's one group that basically they're driving a Ferrari in a school zone and they never get out of the school zone. Like they'll use it for valuable things, better communication. They'll use it for agendas, to TLDRs and those things, but still school zone, 20 miles an hour. Then you have the third group that just rebels against it, right? I hate it. It's evil. It's whatever. And typically it's not that they really think that way. It's more they're just frustrated because they're trying to use it and the results they're getting aren't very good.
Oh, well, so I'll argue against that because I actually have some people that are like just systematically like, I hate it. I will not use it. I refuse to use it. Like they have this moral standing against it. They have never even used it kind of thing. And I'm just like, you're wrong. I mean, I get like why you might have an opinion on that, but there is this other group of people who just will not use it. They've never used it. All they heard is that it burns down forests, which I've said multiple times, by the way.
Well, good luck to you people. I tell you that.
Well, no, in all honesty, I mean, like that, like those people, like if you're going to have an opinion on it, then at least do it. Like at least go and try it one time and then be like, okay, yeah, that didn't work. And it proved how wrong, But yeah, so anyway, sorry, continue.
So the one thing that I noticed, what made that group thrive? I needed to figure this out.
Right.
Emotional intelligence and cognitive skills. So what I learned is, look, AI has all the knowledge in the world at your fingertips. So does the library. So you've got that. So how do you apply that knowledge? If I don't go into the library, or even if I just walk in the library, I don't read a book, well, what good was walking in there for? If I read a book but then don't apply anything that I read in the book, what good was it? Well, AI is kind of the same way. So AI has all the knowledge in the world, but it's the humans that come in and bring the wisdom, right? And I know what I'm going to say is important for your group here, because we're hearing all the time coders are going to be completely replaced and wiped off the map. Now, do I agree or disagree? I don't know. Right now, I don't agree.
Right.
Might change my mind. I mean, when you brought up Anthropic, what did they release? 54 updates in like 5 weeks? Right. And now we've got Mythos and all the stuff, which we might want to talk about that as well. But here is my biggest concern with it. I think the time of the C student coder is over. I think you're going to have to be really, really good.
Right.
But here's the challenge with that. If I can't start at the bottom, how do I become good? I can code now. I mean, I've shipped basically 11 products, but here's the problem that I have. Like I've learned design thinking. I've learned critical thinking. I can apply what I think coders kind of think to what I'm building. And I can apply multiple filters, multiple checks. But at the end of the day, I have no idea if it's clean code.
Right.
If you put two things on the table, this one's clean, this one's dirty, I couldn't tell the difference between the two. I'm always going to need you.
Okay, so to that point, though, here's an interesting little thing that's happened. I've taken on 2 new projects. Both of them are code review projects. One is a code review from a Lovable project. The other is a code review from a human development team out of the Ukraine, right? 2 totally different products, right? But same deliverable is saying, okay, let's review these codes.
I guarantee Ukraine was shittier.
my lovable.
I've reviewed my share of Ukrainian code over the years.
It was kind of crazy. Like now again, the lovable had some pretty egregious like security issues that like if weren't caught would be like a very big issue. But there was like 3 of them.
Did you use Claude Code review at all?
I know. So I actually, so I kind of went through it. I scanned it, and then I went through and I had Claude Code do it, and then I went and I had Codex do it.
Yeah.
And the Codex app, the desktop app, and I'm loving the desktop app of Codex. Like it's the tits. I'm loving it. But anyway, so then I kind of go through, and then I kind of feel it what it says, but then there's some bullshit that it calls, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, what about this? What about this? I'll kind of go in. So I'm doing this kind of duality thing, building it up, but ultimately I'm having the AI write all the documentation of everything that I'm finding, everything it's finding, I'm correcting. I'm like, all right, now write that to the thing, write that to the thing. But yeah, the Ukrainian one was like, brrr. I'm like, holy shit.
I think that the one thing that AI has a tendency to do from a code perspective is have structure and consistency, even if it's bad.
Exactly, it's at least consistently bad.
Humans are consistently inconsistent.
Yeah. I mean, the whole design pattern thing is like, I don't know how many times I've tried to start a new project and like, okay, this time it's gonna be dry code. But at the end of the day, you got to ship something.
Exactly.
And it takes a lot of time by hand to make sure everything is fitting into this future product that you don't even know what it is yet.
Right.
So then it's like, okay, well, you have to be disciplined. You have to go back and redo that. And code like Codex or Claude does that for you. But you still have to drive the ship.
You have to drive the ship.
The one thing I want to challenge you on about like, oh, well, we have to know what we're doing still. I think the evolution of this is more and more, just like abstraction layers have always existed. Machine coding, you had to be the most badass. You had to understand physical hardware to do blah, 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 blah. Then there's abstractions.
Assembler.
Now it's this, and now it's this. It's just the next, it's a huge evolution into that. And we're going to continue to design better patterns, better blocks. I said a couple weeks ago, like DevOps is currently the last mile. It won't be in, 6 months, who knows, 3 months, maybe tomorrow. But like I was just using a deployment CLI yesterday. I'm like, in 45 minutes, I had something that probably would have taken all afternoon, like
100%.
Up and running locally, deployed live to the cloud with domains, SSL, and caching, and a very complicated architecture. And I was like, oh my God, like I've been working on this problem for 10 years. Like there's cloud formation and blah, 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 blah.
Well, I think that gets back to the point of what you said, which is like code A versus code B.
Yeah.
I think that challenge could be solved with an abstraction layer, but I think that the A coder versus the C coder understands architecture, understands all the things that go around a product and software versus just specifically like the best code or the best function or the best testing.
For loop.
Yeah,
it's more holistic than that.
And and you get into scenarios where like you built a thing and then it has 1 million users. Well, that's a different problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
And by the way, Claude can absolutely help you with that, but you still have to. It's like Google. I can go to Google, I can go to the library and ask any question, but I have to still know what question to ask. And if I don't, I can ask, now I have this thing that I can ask what questions to ask. But you still have to be curious and you have to have the emotional intelligence or like ability to drive that conversation rather than just bang my head against the wall. I don't know what's happening. So,
has there been any studies that you've seen with like narcissists and AI?
I have not looked at that. I actually worked with the narcissist for
haven't we all?
3.5 years plus. I won't mention any names, but look, here's the problem with narcissists, though, right? When they're on, they're brilliant.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But when they're off, Satan doesn't even want them in hell, right? That's how bad they can be. But they're really good at putting the carrot on the stick, right? That's why they're so valuable in tech, right? They can get a bunch of people involved with a little carrot on the stick to build something great. And
Sam Altman.
Sam Altman is a great.
Did you guys see the New Yorker article that came out this week?
What happened?
So we did an entire podcast called
Scam Altman.
Scam
Altman. And the New Yorker found a employee that worked for him in 2013 that was like, basically like, this guy has an extraordinary ability to be liked by everyone.
Yeah.
But also at the same token have absolutely no fear of just completely lying to you and deceiving you.
Yeah. Again, it doesn't. Anybody who's at that level, again, jobs, like all of them, you have to have a certain level of like, I'm kind of crazy. To want to be there, to want to do that, to think that you have the ability to do that, and like you have to have a couple screws loose, and I think they all do.
Well, and he has it terrible because, and so does the Anthropic guy because their valuations are so high,
right,
for them to be able to
like
get a return on investment.
$800 billion.
Think if you're bringing in a new investor right now, and you're Anthropic, OpenAI, or SpaceX, they're going to go public, right? Yeah. Think about what you have to promise to people.
Oh yeah,
to get them an ROI.
Hey, I'm losing $800 billion a year, but I'm worth $9 trillion.
It's great. So what scares me though is, especially with OpenAI, if you think about all of the information that we've now given to OpenAI over the last 3.5 years. And as they continue to stop running the image generation because it costs so much, and they try to have codecs generate an SVG of what I'm fucking asking for, and it of course looks like a 2-year-old did it. What happens when they start to panic, right? And they're like, oh shit, we're running out of money. What do we do? Well, the one thing that we have is all of this data. Hey guys, we just updated our terms of service, privacy policy email. Click, okay, cool. You guys are still using it. That scares me. I don't trust him.
But that's why the tech gods here moved to the other side of the aisle so quickly, because the only entity that has that kind of money is the government.
Right. They have unlimited.
They can just keep printing, at least for now.
Yeah.
Whole different podcast. but yeah, so they have to go down the path of whoever's in office. We have to basically kiss the ring, because I need access, I need money, permits. I mean, how many
Nuclear
data centers
power
are we
plants.
building? All that kind of stuff. So,
jeez.
and look, the tech companies sold the government that this is an arms race.
Yeah.
Right. So immediately now you can use that fear. The government can use that fear on us through the narrative, so they can just keep pushing all the money out that they need. So it's going to be ugly for the next few years.
What was your take on Anthropic's decision to basically tell the current administration to fuck off?
Well, look, it was perfect timing for me, because I made the switch to Claude Code, and that's how I built Barnabas. I think I've only been 5 weeks that I built this, and the way that it did everything, instead I've done $750,000 worth of work that would have taken a group of 6 to 9 months to create. I've done it in 5 weeks. Now, I can't tell you that's fully accurate, but I can tell you it's pretty darn close when I look at what I built.
It is.
I do, yeah.
But I was excited because, look, and we can talk deep about Anthropic, because I think that at least their PR and their narrative has been the same the whole way.
Yeah, agreed.
We want to do what's right. We want to try to help people. We don't want to destroy things. We're trying to be as secure as possible.
Why don't you real quick tell the people what actually the government was asking them to do and what Anthropic said no to?
Well, I don't know the exact but basically use their AI for war, right? So
for making weapons and mass surveillance, and they were like no, and they're like, well, fuck you then,
right? We're going to kill people. With this
Why would they need OpenAI and Anthropic when they have Palantir?
Because Palantir doesn't actually have any true foundational models at the scale that Grok.
So were they
and
basically
OpenAI
saying
do.
what model are we plugging into Palantir?
Well, no, I think it's more of the mass surveillance. Who knows?
How do you even say that company name?
Palantir.
Palantir.
Yeah, Palantir.
Carp is crazy.
Oh no, the Palantir is like
talk about a narcissist.
Talk about a narcissist.
Right? Yeah. Dude, that's some crazy shit.
Dude, he's nuts.
Yeah. So, but the reality is like with Palantir and but they basically were like, hey, we just want AI. We want Anthropic. We want Opus 4.6 to help us design bombs. And they're like, no. And they're like, well, then we're going to make it so no federal agency can use Claude. That's now a law, and of course, the law gets passed down through Truth Social from fucking that clown.
But
anyway,
think about how genius that they positioned themselves, though, because of course, who came in right behind Anthropic?
Scam Altman.
Scam Altman.
We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll blow up people.
That little ambulance chaser jumped right in there, right? But
I love this.
But let's look at Mythos.
Yep.
Yeah, let's talk about Mythos.
The new big model.
The big
Are we at AGI?
frontier. The new frontier model, Mythos.
Now, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, and this is Claude. This is Anthropic.
Claude, Anthropic. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because at least their narrative has been consistent.
Yes.
Okay. So I've got to give them some props for that. Now, could this all be BS? We're holding this back.
Right.
More PR. I gotta
It's good.
be in
It's good
front.
marketing.
It's good marketing, right?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, look at what they're doing. If it is good, like they say, because supposedly it found some security issues that our greatest cybersecurity minds
Have not found, in 30 years.
Right. So all these vulnerabilities.
Like we're talking like low-level SSL security issues that this thing's cracked and glued together. It's
wild.
Yes.
It's wild.
Yes.
So if it is true, what they're doing, at least what I've seen that they're doing, is we're not going to release it to the public because we want to make sure it's safe. We're going to release it to all the big boys. Google. We're going to make sure it's safe by giving it to Google, Apple, all the big ones, Oracle, all those, right? Now, what did he just do, though?
Right.
He just said, okay, F you to the government. Right. I'm going to go around you straight to the corporation, which technically runs the government anyway. Inverted totalitarianism. Look that one up. They fund the government anyway, right? They have more control, I think, than the government actually does over everything that's going on.
Oh my God!
So they
that
just
is
bypassed
a
it.
brilliant move.
Well, it's like the corporate state of America, right? Who does the government control supply chain? Does the government control the markets? Does like
my God.
BlackRock.
I mean, basically,
it's
the
all
government. What is
BlackRock
the
and
government's
Palantir.
what is the government's main role in society right now? I would honestly think education, public education, is probably the number one service, direct service that they actually provide.
I don't think they know that.
But that's also a state-run thing.
And they're trying to,
Not a
they're
federally
they're
run
also
thing.
Currently
Right.
trying to privatize it. So it's like,
I mean, they have Medicare, right? But most Medicare is privatized through, or at least administered through private companies.
Did they get rid of the Department of Education?
No,
They never did.
It's still there.
They tried.
Right.
They
they
tried.
neutered it,
Right,
I'm
but
sure.
they did try to move everything down to the state level, which is problematic
there's a lot
for
of
a lot
grants.
Of states.
There's a lot of federal grants that are like frozen right now, but it's not. It's typical. They said a lot more than they actually did.
Really?
Right.
Right.
But anyways,
so tell me about this AI that
I
you
agree with
built.
that.
This
Barnabas.
Barnabas. Tell me about Barnabas.
So it was an experiment I literally did about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, right? In ChatGPT, projects I think came out at that time, and we could give it more instructions. We could actually kind of upload some PDFs and some things like that into it. So I had it track kind of my life for 30 days, my sleep, what I ate, nutrition, meditation time, work time, family time, like all the buckets that we need to fill. I was trying to see how good I am at doing this over a 30-day period. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not great at the health portion of it, but it was a cool experiment, and it really helped. I had a lot of data on how I can improve my life, how I can eat better, sleep better, and work better, right? So as the first one that came out was OpenClaw, right? I did what everybody else did. You run and get the Mac Mini, you put it in there, you start running it. Now, I'm not smart like you guys in this technical world, right? So as I'm jumping in it, everything's breaking. It's not working right. I'm scared shitless because
I'm scared shitless.
I don't know the security. It just took over my computer. And is my bank account going to be zero?
I fucking love this.
Right?
It's amazing.
So I'm freaking out, right? And no matter how much you go on ChatGPT, like I'm not SOC 2 or whatever you guys call it, right? So I'm just stressed. So I just kind of, no, look, if I'm scared, I can't go teach other people to use this stuff.
Right.
So this isn't going to be good for my business in any way, other than just the learning factor of it, right? Now, I've gone back and there's some positives now.
Sure. But
when Claude Code came out, that was a whole different story. Because again, this is a company that, at least for now, I don't want to say I trust them. They have, I'm positive on them. I'll just say that, right?
Yes. So same with me. So out of all of them, Grok, OpenAI, and Anthropic, I'll say trust just because I use it loosely. We'll trust them the most out of the others. But I still use OpenAI the most. Which
Well, except for the one guy that was kind of ahead of all that. kind of just split the England to write poetry.
Oh,
What was
really?
that all about?
Oh, no,
You
so I
see
didn't
that
know.
story?
I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, he was like their head of compliance or something like that. I mean, really high up in the. He just said, "Dude, I'm out."
Dude, so many of these people.
The issue with the compliance guys is that OpenAI starts as a nonprofit. Oh, our mission. This is what Scam does. Is he says our mission is to do AI, but we're going to make sure that no one does anything wrong. And he gets all these altruistic coders who want the world to be a great place. Show up with their lunch pail, and plant trees. And then as soon as they do something that's worth a market, that's worth $1 billion, they go, hey, by the way, about all that stuff about us doing the right thing. And so think about it. They have a complete, crisis on their hands. And by the way, you mentioned SOC too. I wanted to did you see that Delve company, the Y Combinator company?
Dude,
It's all fake.
It's all fake. It's all fake. Dude. So no, I fell for it too. So like I was looking into them for one of my clients, and I'm like, it's almost too good to believe. And I'm like, you should go check them out. At least get on a call with them.
Dude, I'm out on third-party auditors because you know what you do? You give them access to your GitHub.
Oh,
they stole their competitors' code.
Oh shit!
That's what they
I didn't
fucking
even know
did.
that part.
Oh,
I just saw that they
shit.
had all the audits that were essentially the same.
They
They did that too.
But
they
you're 100%
also
right.
stole
They
their
would
competitors' code and they redid their entire product roadmap. And the CEO was sending specs that were just because they have access to everyone's code.
What was that? What was the Asian dude's name in Silicon Valley where he was like,
Not hot dog.
hot dog or not?
So you're making the point on why I was so scared of OpenClaw.
Oh,
right?
Yes, exactly.
Sorry. This is the ADHD train. We just went.
Oh,
right
and by the
off.
way,
Anyway.
I still have not installed OpenClaw.
Okay, good. Anyway, so continue, please.
So where was I at? I'm sorry.
You were shitting your pants, and then you were like, okay, if I can't do this, I shouldn't be teaching people
Teaching
that. Yeah.
So Claude Code came out, right? So I installed that,
Right.
got it up and running. Wow. Like I get this. This is working not flawlessly, but it's working great, right? So in 5 weeks, I was able to build a website, 3 different products that I pushed out there, a AI assessment that's literally 7 levels, all based on cognitive skills and emotional intelligence. It's all science backed and all that. Now it's research backed, but yet it's just now in the public. So we'll see, get the actual validation
Right.
as we go. And I am
Right.
looking for somebody at the university level to go through it and really fine tooth comb it and make sure that this is good. Cause I'm going to build my entire career on this assessment.
Okay.
I'm going all in on it, writing a book about it and everything.
Wow.
So it built that. And then I started realizing what was going to set me apart from everybody else. Everybody's doing workshops. Everybody's training the executive C-suite, blah, blah, blah. Because we want to create an ecosystem that is scalable, all the corporate nonsense jargon that I hear all the time. So I realized that I'm doing the same thing everybody else is right now, and I need to be ahead of everybody else. Now, I don't have a huge pile of money behind me, but you know what I got? Barnabas. I don't need a huge pile of money to build things. So the first thing I realized in the consulting and workshops I was doing with companies is, what always came up? Governance, compliance.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Dude, I'm a marketing professional, right? What am I going to do, right? So what do? I'm a builder. I solve problems. So I go deep in the lab. I spend 20 hours in the lab, and I create something called AI Law Tracker. And what that is, it basically looks every day. It goes out and looks at all the bills. I think there's 52 total bills, Indiana federal, that are impacting our state right now. It pulls data every day. What's changed? Who's sponsoring it? What's going on with it? It gives a TLDR of the bill. It talks about what industry that it impacts. Is it high risk, medium risk, low risk? It goes through the whole thing. What do I need to do based on this bill? Is it in committee? Is it killed? Is it passed? Whatever that is, right? So now when I go in to do consulting, I've got this. It's already, I've some guys with the state compliance governance are already using it and gave me feedback on it. And this is a system that they're paying somewhere between 10 and 50 grand a year to use. I'm giving it away for free. I see more value for my credibility in my business long-term to give that away for free than to try to monetize it right now.
You don't have all the laws of Indiana, do you?
All the laws that
All
impact
the new
AI.
Okay. That
AI.
impact AI. Okay.
AI.
Sorry. Okay.
AI Law Tracker.
Okay, cool.
.org. So that's out there right now, and that keeps improving. And I added the cybersecurity and all that because I started looking at some of these websites that talked about, and I'm not familiar with it, but SOC 2 and all that kind of stuff, right? And I'm seeing them say they're they're this, that, and the other. And I'm like, as I do the research, well, this is like $100,000 or something to do. And this looks like a 1-person, 3-person company. I don't see how they had that, unless they're going through AWS or whatever and they get it that way, right?
You're not wrong.
So I'm learning this stuff. So I created, what is it? How do you become compliant? What are the steps to go through? And I did it for all the major kind of security things that are there. So all that's on the website for people to access for free, because I don't want you getting scammed by all these guys coming in with their $300,000 ChatGPT wrappers, trying to sell to your company. I come in and I say, look, let's look at your workflow. Let's figure out ways that we can improve this. But number one, we need to get everybody on the same page.
Right.
Because even though I have 7 levels in the assessment, not everybody can be a level 7. And here's what a level 7 is. This is an important part. The future job is an AI orchestrator. Mm-hmm. I'm doing it now. I've got one main agent. I've got basically 8 sub-agents that work underneath of it. I have to orchestrate how all of that flows, and that's the future. There's always going to be, people say, human in the loop. Human is the loop. Mm-hmm. Because that's the wisdom that's going to orchestrate, look for the hallucinations. To your point on context rot, what's the marketing? We've got a 10 million context token window.
Right.
Well, token rot starts at 130,000 tokens, no matter how big your window is, right? So how does emotional intelligence fit that? Well, you kind of alluded to it. You have to have the social awareness to know when that window is starting to drift.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And as you start seeing that and notice some of these little signs that pop up, oh, you know what, we might want to start fresh. So what I did with Barnabas, which is the main agent, this was beautiful. Remember the leak, the Anthropic leak?
Yeah.
And so the biggest challenge I've had with Barnabas is memory issues. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think we've all made the mistake of saying, good morning.
Yeah, right.
Oh, damn, I got to sit here for 15 minutes as it goes through all the files, right? And then you start, and it's like, prime example is I was building AI Law Tracker. It created all this code, everything flawless. You know where I got stuck for 4 hours? And I could have done it myself, but I was not going to give up on Barnabas. Pushing the versal. 4 hours.
Right.
It kept kicking. I'm like, we have done this 1,000 times.
Yep.
What is happening? Right. Something was broke. Some little apostrophe got thrown off. Whatever.
They turned down the brain power lever just for to save a couple dollars.
But I'm determined. Barnabas, you can do it. You can, instead of it telling me how great I am, I'm telling it how great it is. Right. And finally got it fixed and resolved. But the biggest solution that I came up with when that leak came out, have you heard of Dream? Mm-mm. So Dream was a new feature that Anthropic hasn't come out with, but they were supposed to or going to. And this was going to solve a lot of our memory problems.
Oh, yeah, right.
When that leak came out, I gave the whole code was in GitHub. So I said, go through all this. Find what we can use and build ourselves.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah.
It found Dream. And it reverse engineered it and then built me a version of it. So now what happens is, in my context window, when I start seeing rot happen, I say, okay, and so my code word is wrap it up. Right. And that we wrap up this window, we save everything we need, and then it automatically gives me the next prompt for the new window so we can go seamlessly over there. Because before, every new window, hello.
Right.
How are these guys spending $100,000? It takes me 15 minutes just to say hello to the thing, right? Yeah. Well, that doesn't happen anymore. And then as I'm starting to try to think more like you guys, design thinking, right? How can we improve this process? Let's look at how other people improve processes. Doesn't have to be AI, but how do we structure files? How do we structure code? How do we structure things? And then we came up with a security system where it kind of, a health system, I call it mission control, where every time when it pops up, I say mission control, tells me the health of the system.
Oh, cool. Yep.
So I kind of know, am I red, am I green, am I yellow? It kind of has 5 different things that it looks at. I'm sure it's going to be a lot more in the future.
All right.
But I can tell you, I can't give you a quantifiable number, but I feel like my production has increased at least 30% since we've put that in there.
Right.
So after AI Law Tracker and after Dream, I had somebody come up to me and they wanted me to help them with a project, but there's a lot of HIPAA things involved with it. Once again, I'm like, oh, dude, I'm a marketer. I don't know maybe this isn't for me. But as I went in and started doing the research, I realized there's nowhere to really get the information. It's not easily accessible. So I did it with AI Law Tracker. Well, is the data out there? Is the APIs out there? Can I actually make this happen? Before we even waste another minute, do the research to see if this is even feasible. Came back, data's there.
Sure.
So I created what's called, what did I call it? Health Law IQ. Now, this isn't going to be a free product, but basically it's how you can stay in full compliance with HIPAA, FDA, all those different kind of things for what you're building.
Right.
Because how can I go into a company and say, look, I'm going to help you build something, or I'm even going to recruit the team to come in and build if I don't understand governance?
Yeah.
If I don't understand compliance, if I don't understand security, and I don't understand things like HIPAA, FDA, or whatever else that you're working on.
Right.
Now, I can't be all things to all people. Guess what? Barnabas is pretty damn good at it. But, now I'm recruiting those very specific experts to be able to come in to be that credible presence to say, look, yeah, this is right. This is accurate. So some of the law stuff, I have some attorneys that are going to start looking at it, really tearing through it. Because, again, it's like code. I don't know if it's 100% accurate. It might be close, but now we're talking about law and compliance. It needs to be 100%, not 97.
You are contributing to the trillion new products that are going to be created because of AI. So there's two more right there, right out of the gate. So you've got this. Before we get into it, because I want to make sure you came prepared with something, and this will be a first on the Big Cheese Podcast.
Yes.
And so I wanted to make sure we had time to do this.
So what I do before, like I'm a podcast host myself, and I really like
what's the podcast called?
So AI Ready. It was AI for Everyone podcast. We just rebranded, first episode today, AI Ready Podcast.
Congratulations. You can find it on all the podcast platforms.
So we're on YouTube. Already got 10,000 subscribers,
Hell
3 million views. So that's going well. But what I do is I run an emotional intelligence assessment and a DISC profile on the people that I talk to. This is going to help you if you're in sales, meetings, communicating with your team. There's nothing more valuable than this. So, Jacob. You.
Oh, good Lord.
Sean.
Oh, I'm not going to be able to. I will have to be there in spirit because I will. Oh, wait, no.
So I just want to see how close this is, right? Because so far, I can tell you it hasn't misled me. So when I do my podcast, the number one thing, and you guys do a great job at this, is I don't want to be like every other podcast out there. Right? Yeah. And it's funny because Jay was just on my show, and he's like used to answering the same 10 questions plus, especially even media outlets are all the same basic questions.
You get the same question, right?
So I want to go in and find the questions that nobody's asking, but I want them to be based on your profile. Now, all three of you have very high emotional intelligence, so that was pretty. I was so excited to come in here because it's, and I'm not ripping on Indiana at all, but it's very hard to find people on the same wavelength of AI right now. Right. And I'm so far ahead, not being braggadocious, but I'm 20 hours a day doing this.
Absolutely.
For the last 3 years. So I was excited when I saw this come out.
I would say that this is very, very apropos.
So again, the questions, if you're more creative, I'm going to have a much different conversation than if Jacob is an engineer.
Exactly.
He doesn't care about the creative side of things, right? You enjoy building. You're going to want to talk about build. You're going to want data. You're not going to want my opinion. Mm-hmm. And here's one thing that Barnabas has changed for me, right? And I don't argue with people anymore because people will come. Prime example, I just had a guy that came in and marketing professional, 20 plus years. He had a proposal. And he said, hey, man, I heard about your Barnabas. Will you run it through? I said, you sure you want me to? He said, I do. So I ran it through, and it basically said, most of your proposal is fluff. It doesn't really work. So it whittled it down to 11 pages, and it gave it an actual 12-month kind of thing. This is exactly what's going to happen over the next 12 months. Well, at first he was kind of silent, kind of shocked. But then I realized this is another one of those emotional intelligence things. And I'm so grateful for that moment because I've seen it 1,000 times, but I couldn't put my finger on it.
Right.
Identity. He's got 20 years of experience in marketing, and Barnabas said he was wrong in his approach. Well, my identity. So prime example with my marketing, my whole marketing plan just changed literally last week.
Right.
Now, I've been in this 20 plus years. So do you know what's worked for me in that time? The Gary Vaynerchuk 24/7 flood content model.
Right.
And I've been extremely successful with that model. Well, all of a sudden, I'm not getting the traction that I used to. Now, everything's changed, of course.
Yep.
But I go into Barnabas and say, look, man, what I'm doing is not working. Like LinkedIn, come on, man. Why do you guys hate me so much? But it's not that. It's just that I'm using the wrong strategy. So it comes out with, hey, you're doing this wrong, and it's all based on research and data. So we revamped the whole thing. But it was hard for me because how can it be right? I got 20 years of this. So identity.
Right.
So anytime that AI starts to challenge your identity, that's where people have that friction on to use it. So
do those people tend to dip, you think? Like when all of a sudden it starts challenging that, do they one think it's wrong, or do they just be like, I'm leaving. I don't want this.
Well, it's a little of both. Like I fought it for 6 months at least because look, I'm bringing the wisdom to the table. How dare you tell me that I'm wrong? But now I've gone to the thing because of course everybody's giving unsolicited advice all the time. Right. You should be doing this, doing that. Now I'm like, look, I don't make any decision unless it's researched and data driven. The only time I'm going to deviate from that on my gut, because that's how we disrupt, right, is our gut. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to give you my gut until I have the research and it's data backed.
Right.
At that point, I'll make a decision. Until then, and I tell Barnabas this all the time, my opinion doesn't matter.
Right.
Not until all this gets back. Then we can have our brainstorm session.
Sure.
And see where is there an opening for disruption.
Right.
So
yeah. Now this is pretty cool. Now this was a LinkedIn data, I assume, that you provide a LinkedIn profile.
LinkedIn, and we can go down to transcribing other
podcasts
and having. So now I've got your voice, your tendencies, the way you ask a question, the way you answer a question. All that can be compiled into this. So if you're a salesperson, I'm going to build this out. You just plug it in. And now I know how to approach everybody's just trying to make go on LinkedIn right now. Everybody's content sounds exactly alike. They're saying the quiet part out loud. And I've got, so Barnabas has like all these banned words.
Right.
Oh, like if you look at my writing on LinkedIn, you will be hard pressed to know that I use AI for most of it. Right. There's always a few telltale signs, but most of it. Because I train it every day. This is a banned word. This is a brand if X, then Y.
All the time.
Saying the quiet part out loud. It used to be unlock, unleash, harness, 932 emojis. I know when somebody's brand new, when their first post is this long with emojis all through it. And God love them. We all started there, so I'm not judging anybody for that. But
we know. But we know.
Yeah, we know. But I really struggle when you're I'm a consultant for this high-end people, and I'm giving you this long post full of emojis that's all bullshit.
100%. Right? 100%.
So all three of those, you feel good?
This is absolutely on point for me.
Yeah.
And Sean, as long as it says he's a crazy person.
I read every word.
Pretty much what it is. Well, okay, so
I think it's good. This is very good.
This is very good. So let's wrap up. How can people? What's the best way for people to learn more about you?
Launchready.ai for sure. And then take the assessment. It's assess.launchready.ai.
Okay. And then from there, they can do whatever
find the AI Ready podcast. You'll find it on the website.
Find the podcast. We'll link it also in the show notes and everything else. But Harrison, it was a pleasure talking with you, my friend.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Thank you for coming out. It was a lot of fun. We'll see you guys later.
Woohoo! See y'all.